Welcome to the life of crime. We have heard a lot of news about different notorious criminals in the world, and the crime rate even then was so alarming. Among these criminals was Jeffrey Dahmer. In fact, his name alone was to be feared, and he had committed a whole lot of notorious killings. He was not only killing, but also dealing with virtually all parts of their bodies. You will be shocked to know the number of victims on his list. So when you hear Jeffrey Dahmer, you hear a devil's name. Everything evil was inside him, and no ordinary person could stop him. Want to know more about this notorious serial killer? That's why we're here today. In this video, we will tell you more about Jeffrey Dahmer, his history, his crimes, and how he was captured and killed. So watch this video till the end because it's going to be interesting. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification icon so you can stay updated with our videos. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, who was also referred to as the Milwaukee Cannibal or the Milwaukee Monster, was an American serial killer and sex offender. By most accounts, Dahmer had a normal childhood. However, he became withdrawn and uncommunicative as he got older. Let's begin with his early life. Dahmer began to show little to no interest in social interaction and hobbies when he reached the adolescent stage. He did not move close to people. All he kept doing was examining animal carcasses and drinking heavily for entertainment. Well, he kept drinking even till he ended high school. But one thing was that his drinking did not stop him from graduating in 1978. Thereafter, his father forced him to enroll in the Army, where he served as a combat medic in Germany from 1979 to 1981. You will also expect more problems. Well, he didn't leave his habit with him. He was later discharged and moved back home to Ohio. After his drinking continued to cause problems, his father sent him to live with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. By 1985, he was frequenting gay bathhouses where he would drug men, rape them as they lay unconscious. Although he was arrested twice for indecent exposure incidents in 1982 and 1986, he also faced probation and was not charged for the rapes. All right, before his first murder, Jeffrey Dahmer had already committed many crimes, but that was just the tip in his executions. The major factor was the murder occurrences. So let's talk about his first murder. Jeffrey Dahmer was still a teenager when he committed his first murder. Precisely, he was 18 years old when this happened. Due to his parents' unfolding divorce that summer, Dahmer was left alone in the family home. When he was home, he used the opportunity to act on the dark thoughts that had been growing in his mind. He picked up a hitchhiker named Stephen Hicks. He then offered to take Hicks back to his father's house to drink beer. But when Hicks decided to leave, Dahmer hit him with a 10-pound dumbbell in the back of the head. After killing Hicks, he dissected, dissolved, pulverized, and scattered his remains throughout his backyard. Dahmer later admitted to killing Hicks just because he wanted him to stay. Between 1978 and 1991, he committed the murder and dismemberment of 17 men and boys. Many of his later murders involved necrophilia, cannibalism, and the permanent preservation of body parts. In fact, he dealt with virtually all parts of the skeleton. Stephen Tuomi was the second victim, killed in September 1987. Dahmer picked him up from a bar and took him back to a hotel room, where he woke up the following day to his beaten dead body. He eventually stated that he didn't know when it happened and that he had no memory of murdering Tuomi. This implied that he could have probably committed the crime in a blacked-out impulse. Could he have been on some sort of drug that made him forget his actions? The killings occurred irregularly after Tuomi, with 2 victims in 1988, 1 in 1989, and 4 in 1990. He kept on with his atrocities and continued to lure unsuspecting men from bars or solicited prostitutes, whom he then drugged, raped, and killed. There was a point when Dahmer also began to carry out some majorly disturbing acts with their corpses. He was even using bodies for intercourse, taking photographs of the dismemberment process, preserving his victims' skulls and genitals for display with scientific precision, and even retaining parts for consumption. What could be worse than this? At this period, it was revealed that Dahmer was again arrested for an incident at his job at the Ambrosia Chocolate Factory. He was arrested because he drugged and sexually fondled a 13-year-old boy. For this reason, he was sentenced to 5 years probation and 1 year at a work release camp. He was now asked to register himself as a sex offender. Fortunately for him, he was released 2 months early from the work program and subsequently moved into a Milwaukee apartment in May of 1990. Despite having steady appointments with his probation officer, he was still free to commit 4 murders that year and 8 more in 1991. Within 5 years, he killed mostly in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, another 15 boys and young men who were, for the most part, poor and African American, Asian, and Latino. Understandably, several other serial killers had claimed more victims' lives, but Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes were particularly gruesome, and his crimes would always involve necrophilia and cannibalism. By the summer of 1991, Jeffrey Dahmer began to kill around an individual per week. He became infatuated with the idea of his ability to keep turning his victims into zombies to act as youthful and submissive sexual partners. His method of killing became more gruesome. In fact, he used a lot of different deadly methods, boiling water into their brains, drilling holes into their skull, and injecting hydrochloric acid and lots more. Neighbors began to be so perplexed as they had to complain of strange noises and awful smells coming from Dahmer's apartment. There was a day a lobotomized victim was not attended to and even made it out onto the street to ask several people for help. However, when Jeffrey Dahmer returned, he was able to make the police believe that the irrational young man was simply his extremely intoxicated boyfriend. It was so dumb an action by the officers that they even failed to run a background check that would have revealed Dahmer's sex offender status, allowing him to narrowly escape his fate for a little while longer. The circumstances of the crimes became a subject of much controversy. Some claim that the fact that Dahmer had escaped detection for so long showed that Milwaukee police attached a low priority to investigating the disappearance of victims who were homosexual or members of racial minority groups. Dahmer was accused and indicted on 15 murder charges on January 30th, 1992. Now this may sound funny to you. It was so obvious that the evidence level against him was overwhelming. Even with this, Dahmer pled insanity as his defense due to the nature of his incredibly disturbing and uncontrollably impulses. Well, the judge apparently didn't buy it. Following 2 weeks of trial, the court declared him sane and guilty of 15 counts of murder. He was sentenced to 15 life terms for a total of 957 years in prison. Dahmer served his time in prison at the Columbia Correctional Institute in Portage, Wisconsin. During this time, he expressed remorse for his actions and even wished for his own death. He was even reading the Bible and declared himself a born-again Christian who was ready for his final judgment. Unfortunately for him, he was attacked twice by fellow inmates. His first attempt was to slice his neck open and left him with only superficial wounds. However, on November 28, 1994, Dahmer was attacked again by an inmate when they were cleaning one of the prison showers. He was still found alive but had lost consciousness. Sadly for him, he died on the way to the hospital from severe head trauma. Surely everything that has a beginning will surely have an end. And that was how the notorious Dahmer ended his life. And that's it for today on the life of the notorious serial killer, Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. You can also click on the notification icon so you can stay updated with our videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.